Welcome, history enthusiasts, to our dramatic deep dive into the darkest hours of the ancient world. Crimson stains spread freely across the pristine marble steps of the mighty Roman Senate House today. Julius Caesar, the undisputed master of Rome, lies fallen beneath his great rival's stone statue. His betrayers believe they have truly saved their precious republic from a cruel tyrant's iron grasp. But how did the greatest civilization on Earth crumble into this chaotic and devastating ruin? 400 years ago, the Roman Republic stood tall as a brilliant beacon of civil law. It was a truly glorious realm where power was completely shared and justice ruled the vibrant streets of Rome. Their disciplined legions marched across the known world, conquering distant and savage territories. Victorious armies returned home, bringing massive wealth and countless foreign slaves to the capital. According to ancient records, this immense prosperity became the first drop of hidden poison. The sudden influx of endless gold slowly corrupted the foundational values of their ancestors. Magnificent marble temples were built, while desperate poor citizens starved in the dark and filthy alleyways. A terrifying wealth gap suddenly tore the once united Roman society into bitter factions. The noble patricians bathed in luxury, completely ignoring the desperate cries of the commoners. Exhausted soldiers returned from brutal wars only to find their humble family farms stolen away. Landless and angry, these forgotten veterans wandered the crowded stone streets of the mighty city. Meanwhile, the prestigious Senate became a foul den of endless greed and political corruption. Wealthy senators openly bought votes, treating the sacred republic like a cheap marketplace stall. Ambitious politicians ruthlessly used the violent mobs to intimidate their most fierce rivals. Law and order collapsed rapidly, replaced by the sharp daggers of hired thugs in the shadows. The traditional values of duty and honor vanished under the heavy weight of unbridled greed. Desperate commoners traded their political freedom for free bread and brutal arena games. The Republic was decaying from the inside, a magnificent rotting tree waiting for a strong wind. Into this chaotic vacuum of power stepped the charismatic military commanders of Rome. These brilliant generals promised strict order to the exhausted and entirely terrified population. They privately funded massive armies, paying the loyal soldiers with their own personal fortunes. The sacred bond between the Roman citizen and the eternal state was suddenly broken forever. Soldiers no longer fought for the glorious republic, but only for the general who paid them well. If you were a starving soldier, would you serve a corrupt senate or a generous warlord? This dangerous shift in loyalty transformed the legions into deadly private mercenary armies. The Senate watched in absolute terror as these warlords grew too powerful to be controlled. Bitter rivalries between these arrogant generals threatened to ignite a devastating civil war. The dark storm clouds of destruction gathered quickly over the beautiful marble rooftops of Rome. Among these fierce commanders, one man stood above all others in sheer ambition and raw brilliance. Julius Caesar had spent 10 long years conquering the untamed wilderness of the brutal Gallic lands. His veteran soldiers worshipped him as a living god, bound to him by strict oaths, gold, and victory. Fearing his rising power, the jealous Senate ordered Caesar to quickly disband his loyal army. They demanded he return to Rome as a defenseless private citizen, ready to face certain ruin. Classical historians say Caesar knew that surrendering meant his ultimate political downfall. In the freezing winter of 49 BC, he stood at the misty banks of the Rubicon River. This narrow stream formed the sacred northern boundary of the ancient Italian mainland territory. Roman law strictly forbade any commanding general from crossing this river with a standing army. To step across those cold waters with armed troops was an act of terrible high treason against the state. Caesar hesitated in the freezing fog, weighing the heavy fate of the entire world in his hands. With a bold and defiant voice, he declared that the deadly dice of destiny had been finally cast. He spurred his mighty warhorse forward, plunging into the freezing currents of the Rubicon River. His loyal legionaries followed him without hesitation, their heavy boots splashing in the water. By crossing this tiny boundary, Caesar had effectively declared a brutal war on his own homeland. News of his rapid advance struck the Roman Senate like a devastating thunderbolt from the gods. Panicked senators frantically packed their gold and fled the eternal city in absolute terror. The mighty republic plunged headfirst into a catastrophic conflict that would tear the world apart. Brother fought against brother on distant battlefields, staining the foreign soil with deep Roman sorrow. Caesar's military genius proved completely unstoppable as he crushed all his bitter enemies. After years of bitter conflict, he returned to the exhausted city of Rome as the absolute victor. The defeated Senate quickly bowed down to his will, granting him the unprecedented title of dictator. He implemented massive social reforms, forgiving debts and feeding the poor citizens of Rome. The common people praised him as a savior, but the proud aristocrats secretly despised his rule. They watched in furious silence as Caesar placed his own image on the sacred silver coins of Rome. Rumors spread like wildfire that the ambitious dictator secretly wished to be crowned as a king.
Meet me by the aqueduct at midnight.
To the traditional Romans, the very concept of a king was a toxic insult to their ancient laws. A dark conspiracy began to form in the shadowy corners of the grand marble Senate building.
Tell him the Ides of March are near.
60 angry senators united in a dark plot, calling themselves the brave liberators of the state. They believed that overthrowing the powerful tyrant was the only way to save their fragile republic. Does destroying a beloved leader ever restore freedom? Or does it just breed more unending violence? The fateful day arrived on the Ides of March, in the tragic year of 44 before Christ. Despite terrifying nightmares and dark omens, Caesar arrogantly walked toward the Senate House. He dismissed his loyal bodyguards, believing that no Roman would dare to strike him down in public. He entered the grand hall, wearing his magnificent purple-bordered toga of supreme authority. The conspirators quickly surrounded him, pretending to present a humble legal petition.
Read mine first. It is of utmost importance.
Suddenly, a senator forcefully grabbed Caesar's toga, pulling it down to expose his bare shoulder. This aggressive action was the signal for the conspirators to unleash their hidden iron blades. The first sharp dagger struck the dictator in the neck, causing a sudden burst of shocking crimson hue. Caesar fought back with fury, using his sharp metal stylus to blind his terrified attacker. He was completely outnumbered by the frantic mob of senators, all rushing forward to strike him down. Sharp iron blades flashed in the dim light, tearing through his defenses and his beautiful white garments. Even his trusted friend Brutus stepped forward, driving a cold dagger deep into his failing heart. Betrayed and heartbroken, the great conqueror finally stopped resisting the overwhelming attack. He covered his face with his crimson toga, maintaining his dignity even in his final moments. Caesar collapsed on the cold floor, fading fast beneath the silent statue of his fallen rival. According to ancient records, only one of the 23 deep strikes was truly fatal to him. The breathless conspirators stood over the fallen leader, their trembling hands covered in tragic guilt. They raised their gleaming daggers to the sky, shouting that the terrible tyrant was finally gone. They naively expected the Roman citizens to gladly cheer and celebrate the return of liberty. But the immense Senate hall was completely empty, as the other politicians had fled in deep panic. Outside on the dark streets, the terrified commoners locked their doors, fearing a massive destruction. The brilliant conspiracy had succeeded, but the grand political calculation was entirely wrong. The tragic downfall of their beloved champion did not bring peace, but unleashed a furious storm. The poor citizens of Rome deeply loved Julius Caesar, and they demanded justice for his tragic loss. Instead of saving the Republic, the foolish senators had just signed its final tragic end. The fragile illusion of democratic law shattered entirely, replaced by the roar of angry mobs. A terrifying civil war erupted, far more destructive than anything the world had seen before. Caesar's commanders rallied his furious veteran soldiers, hunting down the desperate betrayers. The conspirators were finally vanquished on distant battlefields, their grand ideals fading in the mud. But the ambitious men who avenged Caesar soon turned their sharp swords against each other in bitter greed. For 13 agonizing years, the Roman world burned in a catastrophic military conflict. Millions of innocent lives were tragically lost as rival warlords fought for supreme domination. The ancient republican system was truly shattered beneath the heavy marching boots of the legions. When the thick smoke of battle finally cleared, one single ruthless man stood victorious over the ruins. Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, seized absolute control and dismantled the old government. He brilliantly disguised his new dictatorship under the comforting illusion of traditional laws. The proud title of emperor replaced the ancient democratic votes of the Roman citizens. The old Senate remained, but only as a weak puppet theater to serve his absolute power. The Republic was completely gone, destroyed not by foreign enemies, but by its own ambition. They conquered the vast world, bringing endless wealth, but entirely lost their precious political soul. The magnificent marble columns stood as cold tombstones over the forgotten ideals of freedom. A glorious era of shared governance was brutally replaced by the heavy shadows of monarchs. From the tragic and ruined ashes of the Republic, a magnificent and terrifying empire was born. Rome would eventually stretch its iron borders from the rainy shores of Britain to distant Egypt. But to rise as this proud and unchallenged master of the ancient Mediterranean world, the mighty Romans first had to brutally crush a gigantic rival standing across the deep sea. Who was this formidable enemy that brought the Republic to the edge of absolute destruction? In our next episode, we will explore the terrifying clash of the mighty Punic Wars. we will witness the brilliant genius of Hannibal Barca crossing the frozen Alps with elephants. A desperate struggle for total Mediterranean supremacy that altered human history. Until then, remember that the brightest golden ages often cast the darkest and heaviest shadows. The chilling echoes of the falling Roman Republic still resonate in our modern world today. As long as human ambition exists, the tragic lessons of Julius Caesar will not be forgotten. Caesar's tragic downfall did not restore the Republic, but birthed an empire deeply built on endless war. Do you think Caesar was a ruthless tyrant or a necessary hero for Rome? Tell us below. If you enjoyed this epic journey, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to our channel.